Greetings. Today's selection is Fun is Where You Find It. Story number 5. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, sat at home alone, reading a novel about pirates' treasure in lands with people unknown to exist before. Within this door of fiction was a vast, endless journey of imagination that feasibly would never pass. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, was spellbound and in awe of how the words within the pages manipulated what he saw. His emotions swung, he often hung enraptured on his seat. As peril approached at what was wrote, he could almost feel the heat. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, never would be the same. As he read, sitting on his bed, his whole perspective changed. Always surprised through the author's eyes, new views were understood. Simon learned he could discern bad as well as good. Analyzing characters when they approached made the stories real. In this realm, he was overwhelmed by the writer's changing will. Happy, sad, and angry lad, the pirate story started. Simon down the road of literary gold, with value he now regarded. Reading books, Simon looked on the shelf for another. The outside said encyclopedia. Now what would he discover? Dates and pages full of stages of the country where he lived, important happenings throughout time. Past knowledge built a bridge to the present. Simon pondered, questioning, when did this start? From cooking to cleaning, from jets to dreaming, books were written to impart the how and why, methods to try. Books were awesome indeed. Even if he tried setting time aside, it would be impossible to read everything written. Simon was smitten. He adored all the new pages, studying animals in Paraguay and warriors throughout the ages, civilizations old and present, and how they all were founded, inventions created and celebrated. In all he was astounded. Combustion engines' inner workings and the basis for the law, the United States Constitution and Egyptian tombs without flaw. Frozen in time, what a crime it would be not to partake. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, now knew how to use his brakes. His parents returned, surprised to learn that Simon was still reading. Like a child consuming fruit, his mind was comfortably feeding. When Simon stopped, he was eager to talk and explain how he stumbled on the fact that within the book stacks, he found himself humbled. In the past, no attention was paid to the books his parents collected. Many a day his dad would say, "Simon, our library shouldn't be neglected." Video games took precedent, appearing to be more entertaining. Dad took the time to attempt to shine a light by patiently explaining. If you haven't tried, please believe you don't know what you're missing. Mom would say, "Simon, one day you'll be happy that you listened." His parents stood feeling quite good as Simon talked on and on about what he read and what was said. His understanding dawned, saying you were right. His smile was bright, happy he kissed his folks, fully assured that if he endured, he would read a host of books short and long. An endless throng of knowledge lay behind it. Lessons, discern them, never spurn them, because fun is where you find it. Thank you for listening. Today's selection is Diligently Try, story number 7. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, was downtown and the scene was crazy. He saw a lot of homeless folks his friends considered lazy. Living in filth, Simon felt guilt for being more fortunate than others. Little kids in rags, Simon felt sad as he viewed the downtrodden mothers. Unhappy faces, all colored races, on the streets with no home. His friend said, "Forget it, Simon, don't sweat it," uncaring, hearts hard as stone. In the mall they played video rage, but Simon's demeanor had changed. Why were they poor? What was in store for their children when it rained? With no place to go and no one to show compassion, they would get sick. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, now knew he wouldn't quit, agonizing about his friend's rude shout, "If they choose to live that way." Simon didn't believe it, couldn't conceive it that a mother would willingly betray Her dependent child is a lifestyle? No, this was wrong and needed change. The biggest problem he faced now was where to lay the blame. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, studied and read about the poor. What was the reason? Why weren't we feeding hungry people anymore? Some said terrible luck. Some folks get stuck in situations that go bad. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, now grew increasingly mad. Why was help deleted to those that need it? Who pulled the safety net? Government leaders were responsible, on this you could bet, said his neighbor Joe. Simon said, "Oh, are you sure this is the cause? What do you do when the needy approach you? Keep walking or kind-heartedly pause? To help the youth, tell the truth. Like others, you continue to walk, not stopping at all, ignoring their call of help. This has to stop." Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, told his dad and mom he was aware of the poor out there and refused to sit back calm. He'd do all he could like a good person should, gathering food, money, and clothes. And though called dumb and sometimes shunned, he'd accept these blows. His parents agreed, saying it takes you and me to make a difference in this world. Your mom and I discreetly tried to help needy boys and girls. We never told you or tried to expose you to things we felt were sad. Simon, you're growing. Indeed, it's showing. Honestly, we're both glad. The love in your heart has begun to start manifesting itself in action. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, knew that only a fraction of folks would be reached week after week, yet some was better than none. Month after month, he delivered lunch to all who would willingly come. He collected clothing and was always probing his neighbors for items unwanted. And though sometimes refused or verbally abused, he continued on undaunted. Giving and caring, continually sharing material things and time. It didn't take long. Simon had a great throng of needy people in his line. Giving God thanks and hugs, lots of love, overwhelmed with sincere gratitude. Ryman Simon, the storytelling diamond, to himself proved that a difference is made as long as you wade in and do the toil. Profits will come, results will run ahead, and nothing will spoil. The joy you feel when you heal the wound of the world's uncaring. By doing good things, smiles will cling to the faces of those sharing. Your gift of compassion, forever lasting. Ryman Simon never again walked by a person in need. He would help indeed, or do his best to diligently try. Thank you for listening.